Cooking with Fractions and Decimals, Tasty English Lessons. Hello learners! Today, we're going to explore the delicious world of English language learning through cooking and recipes. We will see how fractions and decimals are used in this context, making our learning practical and fun. Ready? Let's dive in! Many recipes use fractions to express measurements. You might see 1/2 cup of sugar, 3/4 tablespoon of salt, or 2.5 cups of flour. These fractions simply represent a part of a whole. In the case of 1/2 cup of sugar, for example, it means you need half of a whole cup. Decimals, on the other hand, are another way to express parts of a whole, but in a different format. If a recipe says 0.5 cup of sugar, it's asking for the same amount as 1/2 cup of sugar. So, you see, fractions and decimals can often be used interchangeably. Learning to convert between fractions and decimals can be extremely useful, especially if you come across a recipe that uses a measurement format you're not familiar with. For example, you might need to know that 1/2 in decimal form is 0.5, or that 0.75 is the same as 3/4 in fractions. To convert a fraction to a decimal, simply divide the numerator, the top number, by the denominator, the bottom number. To convert a decimal to a fraction, consider the decimal as the numerator and 1 as the denominator, then simplify if necessary. Now that we understand the basics, let's apply this to a real recipe. Let's take the recipe for a basic cake which requires 1.5 cups of sugar, 0.75 cup of butter, and 2.5 cups of flour. If we convert the fractions to decimals, the recipe would require 1.5 cups of sugar, 0.75 cup of butter, and 2.5 cups of flour. On the other hand, if we convert the decimals to fractions, we'd need 1.5 cups of sugar, 3/4 cup of butter, and 2.5 cups of flour. See how the ingredients remain the same, but are simply represented differently? With that, we wrap up our tasty English lesson. Remember, fractions and decimals are simply different ways to express the same thing. Whether you're following a recipe or explaining one to someone else, you'll now be able to use and understand both formats. We hope you found this lesson helpful and delicious. Happy cooking and happy learning!